Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 26th episode of the SERPs of the Week podcast. It's my pleasure to introduce our guest, Felipe Bazon. Felipe, how are you doing today?
Hi, Alex. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's all good, all good. For those of you listening, I'm speaking from Brazil, and today is Wednesday of Ashes, like the last day before after 5 days of party. So I'm good. I'm alive.
That is great. That is great. So, Filipa is Chief SEO Officer at Hedgehog Digital, an SEO agency based in Cornwall, UK, with offices in Bedford, UK, and São Paulo, Brazil, of course. So, Filipa, just as an icebreaker, right? So, we always ask the same question to our guests, right? So, why did you decide to go with SEO?
Let me tell you, I think SEO chose me because yes, I think that's different because I wasn't working in marketing or technology or anything. I did chemical engineering at university. Then I decided to do business administration. And then I said, you know what, I'm just going to travel the world and see what happens. And I was living in Spain. I met Alan, who is my business partner at Hedgehog nowadays. So he introduced me to SEO. And to be honest, that in marketing, that's all I ever done. I've learned other disciplines from SEO. So that's why I say SEO chose me and I did not choose SEO.
Okay, so it's it was by chance, right? So
Yes, it
more
was.
like rather than. Mhm.
Yeah, as I said, I was working in a bar in Spain, and this guy started coming to the bar every time. He's British, I'm Brazilian, and guess what? The subject of our chat was football, obviously. And he came to the bar many times, and we were talking about football. I did have a background in like programming and so on. I was very fortunate back here in Brazil. Back in the mid 90s, my family gave me a computer. I had access to internet and so on. So kind of like it was the early days. So all you have to do, you have to learn by yourself. So it's like I learned coding. I learned to work with computers because back in the days there were so many interfaces and so on. So I had a good background, and that kind of like led me to for Alan to offer me this job opportunity in SEO. Hence why I'm here. You see, it's very funny. So I didn't even know when he said to me, do you know there's a technique that you can optimize pages and then you rank well in Google? I said, well, okay, I know Google. Go back out the other way. So yeah, that's how SEO came into my life.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool. So, you kind of met Alan and then things have started to roll out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Kind of.
great. Okay, and so talking about, right, the current status of SEO, right? What are the biggest changes you expect to see in Google search by the end of this year? So kind of your predictions, obviously.
Yes. Well, I would say SGE will be launched sometime this year, even though I share the opinions of many SEOs around saying that SGE might not be this big thing as everybody's thinking about it, but I certainly believe it will. Well, it's already showing up. So, and if I aim to say a wild guess, I would say maybe Google showing some TikTok videos in SERPs. I don't know. I think that might be
Mm-hmm.
something. It might be off because why Google would bring traffic or direct traffic to another platform to compete with YouTube. So I think that's my wild prediction is maybe Google showing some results from TikTok in the future.
You mentioned we've already started seeing CGE in SERPs, right? What could you please elaborate a bit more on this? What do you mean by this?
I mean, like Google is already not already showing it. It's already has a plan to start showing SGE in search results. So that's what I meant. Not that it's already showing up. It's like it will show, but Google, I don't think it will show that much, or introducing too many SERPs because it will cost a lot. It will impact its bottom line, which is on ads. So I think they're still experimenting it, and once they find a sweet spot where we can bring that in, still make money, and not affect our money revenue generation, so that's when I think Google will launch SG in full. Like everybody can use it, all the SERPs and so on.
Do you think it might be implemented as an additional feature like with voice search? So basically just a button or whatever it is that you can use if you want
to. That's a good question. That's a good question, Alex, because it does, now that you said, it does make a lot of sense. People, if you want to use it. Because I was reading some articles about it. I can't recall which one and the exact number. So guys, excuse me for my lack of details here. But I read an article where they said to generate one SERP, it costs Google, say, 1 cent. To generate an SGE SERP, it costs 5 cents. So why would you put something, launch something that will increase your costs by 5 times and impact your revenue generation by God knows how much? So that's why I think this button, as you said, might be something that, if you want to enable it, use it. If not, just tug away and life goes on. Or maybe a tab on the top, like we have.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, like we have videos, we have news, we have from the web and so on and so on. So maybe SGE results and you go in there and use it. And so, because I think the SERP as we know it, even though it has changed a lot, might not suffer that many impacts this year. I don't know, things are moving so fast, but my prediction from what I saw, I think things will still be, Google still experimenting with it, because in the end of the day, we know that Google wants to help the users, but wants to help their investors as well, right?
Yeah, for sure, and then if you kind of see CG, right, like they showed it in their experimental mode, then it's just killing all the ads, obviously, right? And then the question is how to generate money then.
I think if you think about it, it's too risky, right? As I said, you don't know where that's going to appear. Are they going to show on the top of ads or below the ads, or either way? Imagine something that all of a sudden becomes a massive blue or purple or orange square in the middle of things and start generating answers. Would you look at the ads, or would that attract you?
No, for sure.
UI wise and user interfaces or user experience wise, if you will, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Like if it's gonna kill your main revenue generation stream.
Yeah, but I just have a question, right, related to money about, because with the recent, it's not really the recent one, but it's one of the updates with Google helpful content, right? When, basically all the content and the biggest portion of the content that were produced by, let's say, so-called affiliate websites, right, were kind of pushed down, right, just because it's no longer kind of the right content for users, right, and so on. But I just wonder about displays, because all those sites, right, traditionally, they were actually using displays, and Google was also kind of getting money, right, out of, whenever they generate, right, a click, Google also gets something out of that. And it looks like Google is no longer interested in promoting displays as a part of their, let's say, like services, or it's something else in your opinion?
I don't have those numbers exactly, but I would say that thinking about how we use or how we interact with those type of ads, our interaction with those ads are minimum. So I would say the revenue generated through those types of ads are not like huge for Google. They come up as a small percentage of all the ad revenue that Google generates. So if you need to improve the quality of your search results, where is the revenue that comes from the search ads,
Mm-hmm.
the biggest parcel of your
Yeah.
revenue stream. So ironing that out, or weeding those bad quality contents out, or unhelpful contents, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have better quality, better results, which increase the trust for people using search. Therefore,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of like remove 10% of your revenue stream to grow another 20. So I think that's something they evaluated in there, because even though these
Mm-hmm.
affiliate websites use a lot of Google AdSense or display ads, I,
Mm-hmm.
they make money a lot out of the obviously the affiliate marketing
Yeah,
that they do,
there.
like
Yeah,
generating.
there.
So the ads are there just like to kind of like complement their revenue stream for the affiliate marketing, and they don't make. My guess is that they don't make a lot of money out of it, because
Mm-hmm.
thinking about the ordinary user, we don't interact too much with those ads. Therefore,
Yeah.
the revenue stream from them is not that much. That's what I think
Yeah.
they, like, correlating to the answer that you did. They kind of like, let's get out of those ones, improve the quality of search, more people who trust search, who click on the ads, and that's where we make more money.
Yeah, it's making a lot of sense. And talking about the changes that Google has recently made, did you have you already noted that Google removed the snippets of web pages? So we used to get access to the snippet of web pages whenever you click on the dots, whenever you look for something like, and you want to kind of see when the last time Google crawled kind of the page, and then you're getting access and seeing the state of the page that Google crawled the last time. But it looks like we are no longer having access to this.
I must confess that I haven't noticed that, but you meaning to
Yeah, I
the
just
last time
found
was
it
catch
today.
why this page is ranking here and so on. It was on the three dots where you show the cached version and so on.
Yeah,
I
cache
didn't know.
version, you're right.
You see, this
Yeah.
is what happens when you stay 5 days in Carnival and you don't see anything. I haven't looked at the emails. The first email I looked at today, since Friday, was yours with the questions from our chat here. So this is,
Yeah.
I'll have to investigate.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I kind of, I wanted to do that just because one website was down, and I wanted to see, right, because the page was indexed, and I wanted to see in kind of, the last indexed kind of update, but it's no longer available. They changed, the whole interface. Whenever you click on the dots, it's looking, completely different to what it was.
Did you see anything like maybe Search Engine Roundtable or Twitter and so on saying it was removed? Maybe it's just a bug.
Yeah, but it looks like a new version. But anyway, right? So just kind of
something to research after my little
break.
break.
Absolutely. And when it comes to changes, right? What are the biggest changes you expect to see in Google SERPs besides CG, right, update by the end of this year?
Well, I saw the other day that they were talking about notes, maybe adding notes or comments to the search results. This could be a big one as well. I don't know if they're going to go through with it or not.
Interesting.
But yes, and I think they might start showing maybe some results from Google Discover, maybe in the SERP, something more interactive. I think Google is going for a more interactiveness than ever, trying to hold people into the SERPs. And then that leads us to lead me to think that we are going to see more and more zero-click searches, Google closing up some ecosystems. Like if you look into sports nowadays, you have all the major leagues, all the clubs, teams, and so on. They have that I call it ecosystem because I heard it from Jess Shows the other day at an event where they create all that ecosystem for the SERP, closing up sports, tourism, and so on. So I would say for this year, we're going to see more and more of that, Google enclosing certain SERPs, not just like the simple zero-click search. For instance, if you do a search for Premier League results nowadays, you're going to see all the matches, the league table and so on, the classification that people are in the stands, and so you don't leave Google for that. So I think if anything to happen this year, it's a more Google generate more interactiveness to hold people within their domain without directing people to the other websites as it does. So more interactiveness within the search, which will then hold people within Google more time.
Yeah, I guess it's more about, right, if the question can be answered straight away, most probably, right? And Google has enough understanding, right? It's not really an investigational question, I would say, whenever you try to do a research, right? Then, yeah, most probably you get just the answer, and that is very much it. Like, the question, the best SEO tools, for instance. Right?
Yeah.
The problem, by the way, the problem there, right, that even though you get the answer straight away, that is not the best answer, right, necessarily, which is the main thing here, right? So I would say, like, instead of having no's, I would rather love to actually vote for those answers, right? So kind of giving my feedback on this, like, could you please rate this answer, right? Because, in some industries, especially, B2B ones, what you see, right, as an answer is not really the right answer, or might be not the best answer, I would say.
Yeah, I think that this is something interesting about the zero-click searches. But what I'm referring to, it's like Google enclosing you. If you do a search, for instance, for the Premier League, you have all the matches that happen, that are gonna happen. You have results, you have comments, you have this and you have that. So you don't even need to leave Google to know that everything that's happening in the Premier League before you have to go to the Premier League website or to Sky Sports and so on. It's all in there, so I can see my team. Like in the UK, I like Arsenal. Then I can go and see what Manchester City is doing without having to leave Google. Just clicking on that ecosystem where there's all the information about the matches, what's coming up. Everything is in there. So on that front, I think Google is going to start doing things similarly to say, you want to plan a trip, going to Amsterdam or Eindhoven to speak an event. Thank you for the invitation again.
You're very welcome.
And then you're going to there. So if you're going there, here is, you don't leave. I'm going to give you, here are the plane tickets. Here are the how you can book your hotel. Here is where you can get all the tickets, lunch, and so on. So it gives all the information for you. You don't even need to leave to visit any other website other than that search that you did in Google. That might happen to dietary plans or fitness plans and so on. I think that's where we're heading, and maybe we're going to start seeing that more and more this year in Google, in the SERPs.
Yeah, I think it's making sense because at the end of the day, Google has all those brand entities, right? And objects, right? Knowledge graph is kind of having all those things all together, which means at the end of the day, even circling back to my example about best SEO tools, Google can really, and kind of, even right now, straight away, showing brand entities, right, of each of them, if, right, it has, and then if it doesn't have, then it's a problem for this brand, right, that, this brand doesn't have a brand entity.
Therefore, you're not going to show up in those ecosystems or the knowledge panels and so on.
Yeah, or it will be an error, whatever it is, which will actually give a red flag to a user.
Hence why it's so important to understand the knowledge graph, entities, and I dare say optimizing for it. Because in my concept, optimizing for it, it's like making sure your brand is a recognized entity within Google knowledge graph. And that's kind of like optimizing for it, because, okay, if you are a very well-known brand, Google can pick that up and attribute the entity level to you
Yeah.
automatically, but for 99% of for our clients especially. So that's why you need to go through all the, say, the Cali Q process from Jason Barnard. By the way, I did an interview with
Yeah.
him last a few weeks ago.
Oh,
Incredible.
very nice. Very nice.
He's one of a kind, right? But I learned, well, exchange is good, but I learned a lot with him immensely, and he's the guy that talks a lot about that. So you have to worry about that, and that is even guiding link building to a certain extent. I'm running a few tests here with my clients in Brazil and in the UK, where I'm trying to map which are the entities within the knowledge graph within that determined segment, say health segment. And I have a client that has is working in the health sector, does blood exams. So I'm trying to connect, linking to the entities and trying to get links from the entities to see if that, to somehow speed up the process of us becoming a well-known entity within the knowledge graph. So if anything might change in the future for us, I think looking into that, into how you build links, not just thinking about DRs and so on, and how influential that link can be to help you become an entity. That's what we're doing. I haven't got any results out of it yet, but I'm still gonna keep doing it to see if I can get anything out of it.
Yeah, I think the necessity of link building per se is decreasing, in my opinion, just because it's way more important to really to focus on getting links from real brands that are close to you and that Google understands as brands, rather than evaluating websites in a old-fashioned way, when we look at domain rating, when we look at organic traffic, when we a lot of people, and that's crazy, a lot of people, they're still relying on Moz spam score. What is that? Does really Moz have the best crawler that really identify enough links? And that is insane, right? And all those things that in reality no longer matter that much as maybe they used to be, whenever link building was more like a technical exercise.
Yes, and this is hard work for us, because you see a lot of people, kind of like that, clients that understand, quote marks here, link building or so on. They come with those, you do a link building campaign for them, you show the links with relevance, the good anchor text pointing to the right places and so on. It is a well-known brand, and then comes to me and said, oh, look at those PRs or DRs, this is not good, we cannot accept the link. And so I said, and to educate them, say this is not important anymore and so on. So I always feel that with link building, we are always way too ahead of what's going on. Nowadays, people are like coming up and asking and querying about the DRs and spam scores and so on, which is not relevant anymore. And now we have to, keep pushing and keep educating and so on, because it all comes down to how people get their message, right? Or who has been talking to them. So I have been, I was never I never was a link builder that was looking into DRs and PRs. I never believed in that, because they were not metrics that really not matter, but they are not updated frequently. So what you're looking at in Ahrefs, for instance, a DR90 could be a DR70 in reality, because these guys might have lost links and so on that could have downgraded them. And I think looking into the relevance and other factors, like looking at a website as a human, it's what really matters for link building. Is it relevant? Does it have a lot of like interaction? Does it rank well for terms that I want to focus on? And nowadays, I think the biggest validator is an entity. If it's an entity, you can rest assured that website is good for you. How influential it will be, I'm not sure yet, but it is influential. That's period. If it's not a matter of like it is or it's not. It is. If it's an entity, how much of an influence, I don't know yet. But in
Yeah,
a
for
word of
sure.
in a word where you have like it may be and it may be not, and it's a definitely a maybe a yes. Why not go for those ones?
Yeah, I think there is certain ways to predict whether this or that website, right, will become a bigger entity just by looking at their marketing team, by looking at what they are doing, right? Just because, for instance, there are a lot of brands, right, especially in SaaS market, right, that are only focusing on building up their organic traffic. So what they do, they don't really run their social media like channels, right? They don't really invest in social media platforms. They don't really do any other marketing initiative besides building up organic traffic. And that is actually a bad signal, just because, right, organic traffic might be quite high, right, might be on spot today, but not necessarily tomorrow after another Google update when Google reconsiders, right, things. We'll be looking at their websites in a kind of not only solely looking at, are kind of ranking signals that are kind of, the direct ones, but also looking at their whole business, right? So, beyond just SEO traffic, I would say.
Yeah, look into their socials, for instance, see how much followers they have, when they post, the interaction rate in their posts on social media. Where are they active? Are they active on Twitter or are they active on LinkedIn and so and so on? If you do a search for their brand, does Google bring up X as all those results from X or from Twitter? Those are all signals that show that the brand is very active, very well recognized, and very reputable within the eyes of Google. Which one thing it's funny that is that people believe or they trust the domain ratings and all those other authority scores, but they don't trust the traffic analytics from say SEMrush or Ahrefs. Come on, you believe in a metric that they created, but you don't believe in a metric that uses algorithms and metrics to calculate the estimation of traffic, which kind of like if you look into your website and if you look at those tools, it's not precise, but it's very close. And a metric that say, oh, this is just like PageRank, which we never saw how it was. We can never compare it to anything, and people believe in that. That's how crazy of industry we live in, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I just think that there is one more thing that can be added to this couple of things that matter is branded traffic, right? So if, right, you see that the particular website, right, has branded traffic, that is very good, right? If you see that, right, and you can go to Google Trends, if you see a positive trend, right, increase, positive kind of trend in terms of growth of searches, right, related to this particular keyword, right, to this branded keyword, then it's also, that is exactly what you need in reality, right?
True, true. To be honest, I never looked into that with that. Now that you mentioned looking into the trends of how much that brand is growing in terms of interest, like more people searching for it, the interest is growing. So the upward trend on Google Trends, I never looked into that. So I will now add to my list of real metrics to look into. That's a good article for a link building article. Real metrics that you need to look for when you're going for a good link. So
I
yeah.
think, right, yeah, at the end of the day, right, the kind of the good deal is not necessarily the one that is having, right, high domain rating authorities today. The good deal is the one that is leading to high domain ratings authority, right, and well-known recognizable brand in 1-2 years, just because then you are adding to your kind of LinkedIn profile, your backlink profile, whatever it is, the right assets, right, that will actually help you grow in the future, right? It's kind of, an investment in some way.
Definitely, yeah. So I think you need to look into each link that you build, not just from the perspective of, oh, will these guys maintain as a good resource, but what is the potential of these guys becoming a well-known brand as well, and therefore my link also gaining more trust or receiving more page rank passing through them. So it's a very interesting point that you mentioned. So looking into the potential of each brand or each website, even if it's a blog or not, in where are they going? So when this is part of the relationship building that we need to do nowadays when we are building links, right? Trying to know the brand, if it's a small brand or a small website and so on. Get to know the owner, get to know the who's behind it, and it's easier to establish a relationship with a smaller brand than it is with a bigger brand. Needless to say that, but if you get those guys that are, you see they are growing, they're investing it, get the big one, the small ones, and in say a year time or 2 years time, 3 years time, all those little links that you built, all of a sudden are helping you a lot. Obviously, it's a long shot. You're not gonna. How do you explain that to the clients? If it's hard to explain that you're gaining a low DR, and you explain to them, look, we're investing in those guys, you're crazy, man. Get out of here.
Yeah, that is what really hard to explain, just because everyone wants to get a good deal today, right?
Yeah.
They don't really think about the future kind of, growth, especially whenever they work with service providers, right? Whenever maybe you are an in-house specialist, there is way more room for negotiations, I would say, right? Whenever you kind of a service provider, that's a bit different, right? So the perspective is a bit different. I mean, it's all about, right, how you can communicate things, and also the way, right, your clients look at things. For sure, if there is a match, then you can definitely, right, do and create the right links or the right kind of SEO strategy or whatever you're working on. Felipe, I have go ahead.
Just on that one, just a quick one. Just on that point. But if you think about it, Alex, obviously you're not going to come up with things just to see if the client trusts you or not. But those clients that when you talk to them about that, they understand the reasoning behind it, and they are with you throughout the years and so on. Those are the clients that are going to have the best revenue and return over investment with you. Those are the clients that are going to stay with you longer. So clients that you can talk sense into them are the ones that matter. So if let's say you have 10 clients and you talk about them to them about this, and 5 go away from, I don't believe in you, what you're saying, and the 5 that stays in, those are the 5 clients that are going to get the results. Those are the clients that trust you. And nowadays, I rather have clients that trust me than clients that I need to keep explaining to them or convincing them that what I'm doing is the right thing.
Yeah, for sure. No, I understand you very well. Sometimes, for sure, you have to make some compromises, I would say. You have to, sure, justify some things and not necessarily do what you really want to, right? Well, that is just an adult life, most probably.
Yeah.
no one told me about that when I was a kid. Well, that is a part of an adult life. And I have the very last question to Felipe, which is, I think, more like a philosophical one. What's the future of SEO in your opinion?
The future of SEO must becoming a part of the marketing mix, a well-recognized marketing discipline within companies, within brands, and so on. Like you have branding, you have media, you have paid ads, you have offline advertisement, you have SEO, because we are, as I say, the backbone of digital marketing, because we understand about intent, we understand about what people want. So why not let SEO become an integral part of marketing department, marketing strategy, instead of like, obviously this might kill what we do, but I wouldn't say so. But why not have all the, like every marketing team must have a brand guy, must have obviously the CMO and the SEO guy. He needs to be there because he will help you tailor campaigns organically, help you maximize investment with your ads. So I see the future of SEO is us becoming this integral part of marketing departments, strategies, and so on. And it's not
Yeah, I
gonna
think
die, therefore.
no, I kind of right. I agree with you. I think that is the future, right? And with all the changes that we expect to see in search engine results, even like they might not be as significant, right, as we've been kind of Google has been telling us, but still, right, we will see, right, more, let's say, zero-click searches and so on, which means, right, that is another source, another way of putting your brand in front of your target audience, which is related to your brand awareness, right? Then it's also related to your likelihood of getting links, because people can only link back to something that they're aware of or consider linking back, right? So, one more time, everything is very much interconnected.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Felipe, for being with us. That was a very, very insightful conversation. Thank you very much for sharing your perspective, and it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Alex, the pleasure was all mine. And yes, I'm happy to join you whenever you invite me again. I hope to see you soon in the Digital Olympus event. Again, thank you very much
Yeah.
for the invitation. It will be my first time speaking in the Netherlands, so really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, guys, we have our own conference that will be held on the 31st of May. So you can always go to our website to check it out. Felipe is among our speakers. We also have some other great, and very well-known guys like Aleda Solis, Kevin Indig, and many others. So, thank you very much, Felipe, one more time. Wishing you a
My
very
pleasure.
nice day.
Thank you
And
very
talk to you
much,
soon.
Alex. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.